What's up, everybody? Back for another week. This is the Sports League podcast. I'm Alex Leak, your co-host. We got Amanda on the show as always. Amanda, another great week of football.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even though we had a bunch of picks differently, we're still tied with we tied up for the week, so I'm still 4 games ahead on our picks. So
Yeah, we gotta stop tying. I'm getting
I
sick of
know.
this. I need
It's
to be
3 weeks in
gaining
a row.
ground. I feel like I'm on a treadmill here, just going nowhere. John, great to have you back on. It's always fun talking football with you.
Thanks. I'm gonna let y'all handle the Monday night stuff. I actually did a benefit well, not a benefit, a celebration for Matt Ryan last night. So I, I,
Nice.
I pretty much missed all the Monday night game. Start at. They told us to promptly start at 7. We were out there at like 10 o'clock. So by the time I got home, it was like, yeah, the games are pretty much over with. So
Yeah.
I saw a bit of highlights, but I didn't get to really watch the games like that. So
All right.
Well,
That's fair. Well, one of the games
yeah.
wasn't really worth watching anyway.
yeah,
I swear Will Levis spends more time in the air and on the ground than that boy does on his feet. He is
but doesn't
having
seem like it just
ugh.
seemed like it seemed like Miami just waiting for the season to be over with. I don't see because even with the turnover with Tyreek Hill,
Mhm.
like he ain't even try to get the ball. I'm not saying if it was a forward or backwards pass, but it's just like the effort and it was just like, man, let's just make it to when the tour get back, or let's just make it to next season. We're gonna just trash this season. Just watching the highlights, I didn't watch the whole game, but I was just like, man, that's they went from being a team that can score 30 to a team that can barely score 14 points a game.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and Tyreek Hill went on saying like, "Oh, it doesn't matter who my quarterback is last year. I'll put up numbers with anybody." Like he has 23 receiving yards and 4 catches in this game, and I mean 87 combined receiving yards over the past 3 games. Like that's horrible. And Tyler Huntley, we know he's not, he doesn't have a cannon. We expect him to move more on the ground. He just never got going either. And I mean, yeah, the Titans won, but I don't see Will Levis having a long future because that boy does not stay on
He
his
threw
feet.
it to a D lineman. He threw it
I
to a
I
big.
am so
I mean,
concerned about him. I don't think he's
that
going to make it through
was
the season without a season-ending injury. I feel like we took a high school kid and threw him into the NFL, and he just doesn't like he literally, quite literally, has not found his footing. Like,
Well, the issue in Tennessee is that head coach Brian Callahan says Will Levis will remain the starter when as long as he's healthy. So, I mean, I think he's got to say that, but Mason Rudolph clearly provided a spark.
mhm,
And the biggest thing with Mason Rudolph is he doesn't turn the ball over. And
yeah.
Will Levis has like 9 leading the NFL. So, I think the Titans are going to have to make a move. And then Miami, you've got 3 backups, and none of them are
Just
starting
a
potential.
quick correction. Will Levis has 9 turnovers, 6 interceptions.
Yeah, 9
But there
turnovers.
were 3 fumbles. I just wanted to make sure we had our facts right there in case the listeners
Yeah,
had a question in the
tur-
comments.
turnover city, and
Hmm.
Miami without a quarterback isn't going anywhere either. Amanda, you saw that post game question for Mike McDaniel, and he just seemed out of it too and lost.
Yeah, I don't know if they were sick or somebody has food poisoning, but like he seemed like he was half asleep or had just taken a Valium or something. Like his train of thought, like he was clearly distracted. So I don't know like what's going on in the locker room there, but it's a mess. And I'm more surprised by the lack of production than I am on the Dolphins. Like I shouldn't be that surprised by it. Like you lose your starting quarterback, but we have so many weapons on that team. Like I still expect
Yeah,
a little bit
e-
of a fight.
even the running back, you got 3 running backs that can all go crazy, and none of
Yeah.
them did anything. Um, John, next week the Dolphins play the Patriots. You know, you would assume Miami's going to take care of business here, but now I'm starting to think maybe New England's going to take this one.
I can honestly say, and I'm just gonna, I'm really not a stat guy, but I'm trying to get better at stats and everything. I'm looking over this thing. So Tennessee, 102 passing yards, 142 rushing yards. Okay, but look at these stats for Miami, man. 70 yards passing, 106 yards rushing. Not bad in the rushing area, but if you look at the first down, they have 13 first down, only 12 points. 1 and 3 or fourth down. Both of these teams in third down and efficiency was 2 of 12. If you want to like Miami is the type of team that we're used to seeing the last couple of years. I think they baited us in for something that we thought we was going to love, and now
Mhm.
they're playing towards I don't care right now because we can blame it on Tua not being here. And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to say, because I don't know their locker room. I've lost a quarterback before, and I know like the players and certain things happen, and then you just fall off. But 10 penalties for 98 yards, that's discipline. That has nothing to do with how good or how bad a player that you lost or you don't have. And maybe the mentality of the team right now is just literally, we're on South Beach. Like literally, we're on South Beach. Like okay, I'm out tonight. Like we can't. Our season is like, I'm serious. Like, because it gets that way sometimes. When you lose a big player, you see all your playoff hopes you think is already gone. So with shit, they got what? Hey, they got 13 more games, and they praying that somebody. This is bad. This is a bad team right now. That's all I can say. I like from inside out. There's a bad team from coach going all the time.
Yeah.
Well, the national media has been all on their love for Mike McDaniel like the past couple of years. And I've always said, I don't know that he's going to be a great head coach. I always had these thoughts that like, I'm not sold on him. And this is when you can really tell about a team when they go through adversity and you lose your starting quarterback. It's up to the coach to keep the team together and keep them competing. And if they're already checking out, this might be where you see Mike McDaniel's weaknesses here the rest of the year being really accentuated,
Yeah, especially against a team that we know doesn't have that good of a defense. Like the Titans can win a game, but they're not good. Like I wouldn't put them in the top
could have
5.
at least been competitive.
It's a beatable team.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was cool about this game, Nick Folk, the Titans kicker, at age 39, he is now the oldest in NFL history to make 3 or more 50-yard field goals in a game. So
he just keeps going.
Dude, forever.
Good job.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty impressive. And now I gotta quote Alex here on this one. So when we were picking Lions versus Seattle with Hugh Jackson on the show, he said Goff will have at least 1 turnover.
Wrong.
And they were gonna suck. And I just gotta say the NFL record for the most pass completions in a game, 18 of 18, that's beautiful. Like 292 passing yards, 155.8 QBR. That is not what we expect out of Goff. I did pick the Lions here, so I'm a little cocky, but that was a fantastic performance from him. I think it's funny though, if you add in the pass that Amon-Ra St. Brown threw to him, the combined QBR is perfect. They've got, the perfect quarterback rating for the two of them together. But it did not go the way I expected it to go until late in the game. Like Seattle looked like they had given up and then they came back and stayed in it. But Goff seems to have found his groove.
Well, my question is, what's up with Seattle's defense? How do you not force 1 incompletion? 18 out of 18?
Well, I said on our last episode, last year they were talking about how they wanted to be Legion of Boom 2.0, and I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And this game would show who they truly were. And did I fucking
They
nail
got
it?
exposed.
Because what is that? Like that
It wasn't just passing, it was the running game too. They got exposed all across the board.
Well, yeah, and Kenneth Walker had some beautiful runs there. So
He
we
kept them in it.
we can see them shifting to the run game. So there were some highlights. 3 touchdown performance by him, a beautiful, beautiful game. And we loved him in the draft, so we've been following him. Charbonnet filled in really well. But you can't survive on only the run game. They gave up a career high 9 pressures to Aiden Hutchinson. That's
Can't do
what a
that.
great game for him, but I think there's a lot going on there, and there's too much talent on that team for them to be letting another offense put up 42 points.
No, and Mike McDonald is a defensive coach, and he's not gonna put up with that. He's not gonna be happy with that. John, how do you let Jared Goff catch a touchdown pass against you? The defense, that alone right there is inexcusable.
Hey, I think they always, and you always have to understand, always expect the unexpected. And also you gotta realize that everybody get paid. So if you gotta and think about it, that's probably and you gotta give Detroit I guess a lot of credit for understanding the team they was playing and able to maximize on the things that they thought they couldn't. Even you, Alex, you thought it was going to be like, oh, Goff is going to have a terrible day, and he came out and played his ass off. It's crazy because if you look at the stats, and I'm on the stats again, so y'all leave me alone.
I love stats.
Seattle had 38 first downs. That's ridiculous.
That's
I'm
so
like,
much.
I'm
This
like,
team had
Yeah.
900 yards of offense, 905
900, that
yards.
is
That
crazy. I'm
blew
looking
my
like
mind.
that's amazing. I'm looking at, but watching the game, you can tell that Detroit was the better team. I mean,
Yeah.
just in and
Well,
out, and they were not able to come back from their turnovers.
mhm.
A guy like Metcalf never fumbles. He fumbles.
Yeah, that was
So it's
costly.
like certain things happen in that game that you never see. And it's like they came back at the end, like you said, at the end they came and like made it look like a football game. But if you watch the game, you watch stuff, you've seen that they never had control of it. They never had control
Yeah.
of the game. And like you said, Aiden Hutchinson was in the backfield so much, like, hey.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I think a lot of it goes to the coaching staff of Detroit paying attention to the injury list for Seattle. I mean, their defense was missing Nwosu, Mafe, Leonard Williams, Brian Murphy, Jerome Baker, and then in the first half, Julian Love went down too. Like,
Yeah.
so that Seattle defense was banged up, and I feel like they just kind of like if you watch where the plays are and where the key players were missing on defense, they just went to those spots. Like they're like, oh, you're the second string, you're the third string, perfect. And so, I mean, shout out to Detroit coaching because we like to talk a lot of Dan Campbell shit on this show because he'll go for it on fourth down and give up points and lose a game by 2 points after not taking a field goal when it was 30 yards, and turn it over on downs. But in this situation, I think they were on top of it, and I mean. We have to give credit where credit is due because they attacked those holes beautifully.
Well, I have to give credit to Jared Goff. Everyone knows I like to shit on Goff and say Goff is ass and blah blah blah. But
Let's
this
make
is
you a
my
shirt that
point.
says that.
This is my point all along, though, is I never said Goff wasn't capable of this. Like Goff is capable. He's got highs and he's got lows. It's about consistency. And that's the thing is the Lions, the team around Goff is loaded. Like this is
Yeah.
a Super Bowl caliber roster.
You
If
dick
Goff
riding
can,
now? Are you dick riding? Are you dick riding? You went from hating the guy, now you dick riding. Well, I'm trying to tell you, man. He said, I never said anything bad about him. Let me.
well,
Hey,
no, I mean if he can protect the football and just not throw games away, this team can go to the Super Bowl. And
Well, and to be fair,
to
Alex
me, it's
used that
about
tagline
consistency.
every time Detroit was close to winning a game or coming back in a game, and Goff threw a freaking interception on third down, fourth down in the bottom half of the fourth quarter. Alex was like, "Oh, Goff is ass." Just
I
meaning
just
like
love the hate.
he will find a way to throw the ball to the other team when they need him not to. Like
No
that's
question.
Alex's thing. Is that man will lose a game with one errant throw. And it's not even like, oh, it was tipped, it was picked off. He'll be like, oh, my receiver defender, perfect. I'm gonna throw it this way. Like he had some
Yeah.
moments last
He
year.
rode,
I think
the bus
earned
with the other team. Like we used to say,
Yeah.
like, somebody did. He rode the bus with the other team. Like, he came here with them. He didn't come with us.
Wrong bus.
But, all right, let's go Sunday night football. Bills, Ravens. I'm gonna take a victory lap here. I didn't get everything right, but I said it could be a blowout. And to me, it's less about my pick. It's more about I'm happy that the Ravens are getting it right now. And the key to their success is feed Derrick Henry. Run the offense through Derrick Henry. You see it against Dallas and now against the Bills. He's been going crazy. And anyone that called, you see some of this stupid shit on social media where they're like, Derrick Henry's washed. He's no longer a good running back. He has not lost a single step. I mean, he was running like 21 miles an hour on that opening 78-yard touchdown. So Derrick Henry's the key. And if the Ravens can stay healthy and have that, they're going to be a force to reckon with late in this season.
Okay, my issue with this game is we were waiting to see this from the Ravens. Why did it take 4 weeks? Like, we know Lamar Jackson is talented. He can throw the ball. He can run. Like, he combined for 210 yards, Derrick Henry for 209. But we were expecting them to come into this season looking like this team. They were a Super Bowl contention team, like, coming into the season. And it took until week 4. So I was waiting for it to happen, but I was losing hope a little bit. And obviously, I'm going to roll with my boy Josh Allen. But man, the Bills had a rough game. And I'm concerned that some of these issues that caused this loss I mean, it wasn't like so what did you said that it would be a Ravens blowout and Kyle Hamilton would have a pick six. So I mean, kudos to you. You're rarely right when it comes to you and me
Wrong on Kyle
against each other.
Hamilton, but yeah.
But no turnovers. But if you're not throwing the ball to the other team, how you only have 10 points? Like, I know the Ravens defense showed up, but what happened to this Bills offense that can drop 40, you know? So some of these I'm concerned about. I mean, 30 plus points in the first 3 games, 41 straight regular season games of scoring more than 10 points. Done, gone. Like,
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in the Bills, and I hope that it's just a fluke and we don't see this continuing. But I think they were exposed, and I think the Ravens highlighted a lot of their issues, and they're going to get taken advantage of in the same ways coming down the line.
Man, y'all, I'll tell you what it did. Media, y'all poked the bear. It was dumb as hell that already crowned Josh Allen the best player in the league.
MVP, yeah.
I mean, the overall team played well. Not saying Josh didn't play well. I'm not knocking your boy, so don't take it a personal shot.
No. Well, I said on Friday that every year I get my hopes up about Josh Allen. I, go all in on him winning a Super Bowl, and then he, throws picks in the game to the Chiefs and they get knocked out of the playoffs every year. But I was ready to get hurt again, and I shouldn't have said that because he took that shit literally. He's like, "Oh, you mean this week? Okay, well,
So you got the reigning MVP coming into town, and you think he's not going to try to show his ass, and you think his teammates are not going to. You think his teammates are not seeing this billboard shit that everybody talking about? Because I like Josh, and I think he's going to be a great quarterback. But to say after one game, not consistently, if you're doing 40, if you're putting up 40 points consistently. Me and my sister had a fight about this. Like, she on that, what you call that shit, the fantasy football. Oh, but they know about real football players on fantasy. They know the points. I'm like, Erica, I get what you're saying. You're totally right with the points. I'm talking about as a football player, the reigning MVP is coming in. So I said, and I'm not knocking Josh, so y'all don't think it's wrong with you saying that I'm not gonna take Mahomes, I'm not gonna take Jackson right now over Josh. I said, I'm sorry. Me personally, I would, because they showed me more than Josh has. Does Josh have the skill? Does he have the ability? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
After he lost Diggs, he showed it. That game showed that he can be a complete quarterback. It didn't show that he was the best player. He has the best skill set, maybe, or he has the best probability if he want. But this game showed like, nah, he's a natural guy. He has natural players. He doesn't have Diggs anymore. He kind of like slapped shit out of people. Now ain't nobody talking about Josh this week. They kind of like,
well,
and my Josh Allen issue, that boy loses big games. He will look beautiful in a game that doesn't matter, but when it matters,
that Ravens defense is legit though, and
ever since they play like that all season. This is the first game we've got 4 quarters out of the Ravens.
Yeah, but maybe so. Another thing to consider too is these teams are not playing their starters in the preseason, so sometimes they start slow, and that could be what's going on with Baltimore. But ever since Roquan came over to that defense, and when you have a healthy Kyle Hamilton, and how about Kyle Van Noy? 3 straight games now with 2 sacks. He's up to 6.
Right?
Yeah, and he's older too. A lot of people thought he was done, and he's come to Baltimore and totally brought it back. So
being in the right defense, like when I was in my 14th year, I went to Arizona. I was blessed to have like Patrick Peterson. I was blessed to have Calais Campbell. Never played with a D tackle like that in my career. This is my 14th year. Yeah, my 14th year. I had what is his name? I can't remember his name. I had a stacked defense. So I ended up making the Pro Bowl in my 14th year because I didn't have to worry about trying to make all the plays myself. I could relax and I was like, okay, I can just rush the passer, I can drop in the coverage and everything. So having players around you that can pick up, and you don't have to worry about, I know I got to tell this guy this. I got to tell this guy this. I can play my job. I can do my job and just play. And I think in your career, you just let your hair down and you just play. You don't care about making mistakes. You don't care about getting hurt. Like, hell, probably my last year anyway, I might as well go ahead and go out with, with a toe back muscle or something like that. I'm going out, so I'm going out with a bang. So I think he's having fun out there now, especially being with Lamar, knowing you have an offense that can score like they did this week. So it takes a lot of pressure off being an older player.
Yeah, I think Van Noy is such a great piece to bring into that team. I mean, 2 sacks for the 3rd straight game, that strip sack that led to a touchdown, the 4th touchdown for Baltimore. I mean, he had a hell of a night, and I'm glad to see the Ravens playing like this, because this is what, like, that's Alex's AFC team usually, but so far this season, like, do something. So I'm excited for them.
They were a toe away from beating the Chiefs. right?
Yeah.
They blew the game late. They had double-digit lead against the Raiders, blew that,
But I
So
hadn't been impressed by the Chiefs either, so I wasn't like I didn't see
yeah,
that as a good game either. Like the Chiefs were
yeah.
playing like shit. They played like shit. They lost to a game who was playing like shit. Like I don't care.
Well, speaking of the Chiefs, there's another game I got wrong. Amanda, talk about the Chiefs over the Chargers.
So Hugh Jackson and I agreed on this. Like I do like Harbaugh, obviously. I mean, I got my Michigan championship banner up here. That's my dude. Well, was my dude. But if it comes down to it, and this game didn't have as many controversial calls and stuff, but it's hard for me to pick against the Chiefs. And I've done it and I've been wrong and it pisses me off every time because like I just see a glimmer of hope for someone to beat them and then they pull it off. Um, I thought this game was going to be more of a shootout, honestly.
Right.
Like, I don't know what the over under was, but 27 total points between the two teams. Shout out to those defenses because those are some pretty strong offenses that they shut down. So I was expecting, 35-28 or something. So I picked this one right just because I've been burned too many times by picking against the Chiefs. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a default pick.
Martinelli.
John,
Nah,
how
let me tell
big?
you. Nah, look, San Diego ain't do shit this whole game. They
Mhm.
they scored twice off of 2 turnovers in the beginning of the game,
And
it
then
made
did nothing.
it was very. This is one of these fake games because if you look at they dominated. Kansas City dominated the whole game. When it comes to Worthy playing well, Kelsey actually having a good game that we can talk about. Like he was
Yeah.
down the field, moving around. They were 10 for 10. They were 10 and 10 and left the red zone with no points. When they had a chance to score a field goal, they left with no points. This game just showed that Harbaugh still has something to work with. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
like
do.
defense didn't play as well. I mean, they had 2 sacks with the Chargers or 3 sacks at the Chargers. They played well, but I think the defense for the Chiefs were the big factor in this game. Like, I don't think it had anything to do with the offensive plays they were playing. I think they just was a better defense because when I watched the tape, Chris Jones, he was coming. Like, he was coming the whole game. Like, the quarterback, Herbert didn't have a time to even, like, really, get into a
Yeah.
groove. If you look
Well,
at
and
that, it's
the
ridiculous.
Chargers are missing 2 starting tackles. Justin Herbert has a high ankle sprain, and I've said this for 3 weeks in a row. Every time he or
You have
Trevor
said,
Lawrence play through an injury, they lose.
you have said that.
Let me
Derwin
check. Oh,
James
injured
was out as
lost.
well.
There are some quarterbacks who can play through injuries and some who can't.
You said that.
I mean, Jordan Love can apparently play 2 quarters through an injury. Not 4, but eh, I went back and looked. Every time that he's questionable during the week and then he plays the game, they've lost. I cannot find a single instance where they were like, yeah, maybe he'll play. He's a little sore, he's got a little stiffness, and then he plays and they've won. I can't find it. And some quarterbacks just don't. I don't know if he needs a shot or better painkillers or what, but
How about a little irony here? Patrick Mahomes throws an interception early in this game, goes to make the tackle, and takes out his number 1 wide receiver, Rashee Rice. They're saying he might not have torn his ACL, which is the best news possible here, but still looking like he's going to miss some time. John, everything's slowly piling up against the Chiefs. The offense is slow. The defense is carrying them to this point. That's why they're 4-0.
Hollywood Brown is out.
Yeah.
Pacheco's out.
Rashee Rice. At some point, is this going to catch up to them? Are they going to be able to survive this?
See, that's what I always tell people. I never knock the championship team when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs because the adversity. We think they're playing bad, but we keep saying we don't understand the pieces they're missing. And also, they had a long offseason. Like, their offseason was long. Like, you understand going to the Super Bowl and coming back and, all that energy you have to, possess, and then trying to find the right people to put back in the thing. And I don't know if Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be that kind of guy ever, but a lot of these guys are going to have to stand up. But I think Worthy is really going to have to show that he's that number 1 receiver. You got to become a complete receiver in your rookie year so you can make it to the playoffs. You make it to the playoffs, you get old boy back. You can rest a little bit, But right now, because like even now they're starting off so and 4-0. This shit scares me. I mean, like for me as a team, kind of because playing against Brady back in the day, I promise you, like, it went from being like, I love playing New England to like, I hope we don't have to. And I knew we had to play them twice a year. And I knew we weren't going to win, no matter who they had in there, because it wasn't about all the other players. It was about the person holding that ball. And that's how this team is. That's why I said, like, for me, when people knock Mahomes saying that he's not like, he should have an MVP almost every year. Just like they did Brady. Brady didn't win that many MVPs, but I mean,
this is why I picked him.
Like, he got more. Yeah, exactly. And they
They'll
played.
Find a way.
Yes, and he 9 for 16 on third downs. That kept the ball moving. That kept them pretty much. They won the game easily because it's just crazy because you look at the score, you would think it was close, and I watched the game and I'm like, okay, so damn, the Chargers scored 10 points quick. Like, you know, in the first they scored off 2 turnovers. They scored, and I'm looking like, okay, so. No, and that's it. I'm watching the rest of the film, and I'm like, "There's no more charges out here." I'm like, "This is awful." Like, come on.
I think the Chiefs were playing with their food a little bit in this one.
Yeah, had to be because that looked bad.
Yeah, because I mean the scoreboard said 7 points, but it felt like 21. Like it was, I could see the Chargers pulling it off. One thing that's nauseating for me as a Packers fan is they look like they might be looking for a new wide receiver, and Devontae Adams would like to not be a Raider anymore. And if that man, I can't even say it. Nope. That's not allowed. No.
You would be happy. You would be so happy. Stop it.
No, I want if he moves, he can go to the Jets. He can go to a bunch of other teams. I think Amari Cooper is ready to get the fuck out of Cleveland.
Right.
So they can have Amari. I think he'd be a great fit there. But I can't. Devontae Adams in a Chiefs jersey. I can't do it. No.
I got a new team for that. I got a new potential here.
For Devontae
Adams to the Eagles for Hassan Reddick.
How can they trade Reddick if he with the Jets still, right?
Yeah. Or wait.
Devontae
Adams to the Jets for Hassan Reddick. Well, of course, Sean, of course. You already know.
Wait, you sound like Mike McDaniel.
Devontae Adams to the Jets for Hassan Reddick.
The Philadelphia could
have. We'll let it play that Mike clip of him tripping balls, just sounding high off his ass, because that's what you sound like.
But
I actually like that though. That sounds good though.
Him going to the Jets makes sense. Like he wants to be, like he's wanted this for a while. Like it makes sense. Aaron Rodgers wanted him. Like, so that makes absolute sense to me. Or just rejoin Carr.
Right.
Like the Saints could use him.
The one thing that you can't do if you're the Raiders is trade Devontae to the Chiefs, your division rival. Like, come on.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I hope not.
But Amari Cooper there would make sense to fill in, like
Amari.
I don't think he would be that expensive given where he's at in his career and the amount of production he's had lately because of the team he's on. So I think him being stuck as a Brown right now kind of helps make him affordable.
Real quick
about that Browns game.
Forgot to mention this. Von Miller for the Bills just got suspended for 4 games.
I completely missed that. I told you he's not in the league anymore. I was just a few weeks off.
So that's a big loss that the Bills are gonna have to navigate there.
Not a big loss. Stop lying.
Hey, he had a good game last week.
It's not the old Von Miller, like
that's why I kept forgetting that he was still playing, because like you were used to hearing about him week after week, and then
I love Von Miller though. So I'm not saying the wrong way, but I think that body is just
tired.
He had a fast career. People don't understand having that early career. Like people be having those fast careers early, and then like you see, he's like JJ Watt. His career was fast. The first 6, 7, 8 years.
Fast and effective, and then I feel like maybe my subconscious knew he was going to get suspended, which is why I don't think he's playing every week. I forgot about him.
Whatever you need to
What did you say? What did
you suspended for?
Something personal conduct, something from like a year ago, like something to do with his girlfriend or something.
Don't worry about it. So let's go. Okay, Cleveland sucks.
Browns Raiders. We don't have to talk much about this.
It went exactly as everyone predicted.
Just sloppy, ugly football.
No, they
Yeah.
started off good. Cleveland started off good. They had a 15-play
Yeah.
drive. They had a 15-play
Yeah.
drive on the first drive.
10-0 lead.
And yeah, then they had a fumble for a touchdown, whatever. Then they had a holding call that brought a big play back. They could have won the game for them. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Browns are frustrating me. They're supposed to be an elite defense. Deshaun Watson's supposed to be a franchise quarterback, a star quarterback, and they're just not. Something's wrong over there. They're 1-3, and they're in a tough division. And they play at the Commanders next, who are red hot. I mean, I don't see any reason why the Browns won't be 1-4. So, season's
allowing
slipping away.
150 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Where is last year's defense? Like
Yeah.
they haven't let the players go. Where is the talent and the cohesion?
Yeah. So,
I think it's
let's
funny
move
that
on.
Devontae was like, "Oh, we won. Cool. I'd like to leave now."
Well, when he went down with that injury and they're like, he's week to week, a lot of people were like, I don't think he's going to play for the Raiders again. It's kind of like he's just shutting it down. So
you got to give credit to the Raiders defense though, because without Max Crosby, they came alive. I mean, they bought 5 or 6 people sometimes, but they really played well on defense.
What's Crosby's outlook? I know he was pretty banged up in the game.
I forgot Crosby was out, so that's a big.
Yeah, he was sitting at home. I'm not sure how long he's going to be out though.
I thought it was a couple weeks, but
I know the defense played extremely well. They came in, I think they hit him like 6 sacks. I think if I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Nice.
They did well. I mean,
especially losing that big guy with injury.
Losing your superstar.
Expects to be back next week.
Okay.
So that's the good news. 49ers, Patriots win exactly as we predicted, 30-13. Niners all over New England.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson with his 4th fumble in 4 games. Only had 1 fumble all of last season, but he has been a fumble machine so far this year.
Yeah, and luckily the first 2 games they recovered them, but not this week.
Yeah. John, you got to make the switch to Drake May pretty soon here, right? It's not working in New England.
I would give him a couple more games. I probably would try to wait till the season's halfway. Let's see what our halfway point would look like, and then I'll give it to Drake May. Right now, I think more of anything, you want cohesion within your whole offense and your whole team, and you want to see what the players can do. Like you want to see what the old lineman is. It the old lineman or is it the D lineman? So right now, like even we was talking about the preseason, the 3 games. Like this is still rehearsal for these new head coaches, because we understand this is a first-year head coach. We can't automatically say that we're thinking they're gonna come out and just win. Like they said, there's no first-year head coach ever made like to the Super Bowl or anything like that. So it's not like we're going out here trying to be Superman or something. Making the playoffs is probably the biggest option they're looking for. But the Jets are playing well. Miami sucks. Buffalo's gonna get better.
I just love how you said that. Like it's just a well-known fact. Like grass is green, Miami sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
it's true. It's just better.
That's why you just kind of go over it fast, because in your mind you're thinking like you're used to hearing Miami's going to be a competitor. Now it's kind of like, they suck, so we're not going to worry about them right now. So as a Patriots, you don't want to be on the bottom of the of the AFC East, so you're going to have to keep them. And then I don't think they want to throw the season away just yet because of how the standings are in their in the AFC right now. So there's no point in putting May in there because okay, we're gonna put you in here and we want you to win games. No, because if you want to put them in, you want them to learn. So wait till you see your season is pretty much okay. We're not gonna be playoff bound. We can put them in here now. Hopefully we can win the last 8 games with them and get the rolling. But I don't think you throw them in that fire just yet.
I agree. I think he needs a little more conditioning. I think using your veteran, who has technically avoided anything catastrophic until this game. I mean, he hasn't had any pick sixes until the 45-yard Fred Warner pick 6 in this game. So I think so far he's okay. Like it's not all on him. He's not throwing like 4 picks a game or anything. And I do think putting Drake May in too early. I mean, he's the number 3 pick. It's a first-year coach. They weren't planning to win the Super Bowl this year. Like him, protect him, let him, learn and rest and kind of work on stuff in practice. I don't think this team was planning to make it to the postseason.
No.
But if things look good around week 8, 9, 10, like, yeah, give him a shot. Let's see how it goes. But I think it's a timing thing too, because you don't want to risk an injury for, your little baby future franchise.
Right.
Speaking of a baby, future franchise quarterback, Jaden Daniels looks
I
like
don't
a
know if anyone
grown
has ever
man
said,
out there.
speaking of a baby on this
Thinking of a
podcast.
baby.
He
Jaden
is a baby,
Daniels.
but he is an
Get
impressive
into
little
my
baby.
belly.
The most impressive stat I heard today, through 4 games as a rookie, Jaden Daniels has only 19 incompletions.
Wow.
Dude is going crazy.
1
26 of
point in
30.
3 games.
Huh?
I said
Through
1
4
point in
games.
3 games. 1 point in 3 games. That's crazy.
Yeah.
4 incompletions in this game, 26 for 30.
Yeah.
I know
2
those aren't golf
incompletions
numbers.
against Cincy. You're going, what'd you say?
I said, I
What'd
know
you
those
say?
aren't golf numbers. You're like, don't.
I didn't even hear that. They blow out the Cardinals 42-14. Not much more to say. I mean, are the Commanders okay, here's a legit question. John, what do you think? Commanders are 3-1.
Yeah.
The NFC East, we were talking about Cowboys and Eagles. Are the Commanders
Who
potentially the
was
best
talking
team
about the
in that
Cowboys?
division?
Was anyone
think-
talking about the Cowboys?
The
I think-
national media.
I think Washington is the best team right now because they don't have any pressure. All the teams you just brought up, Cowboys worrying about what their players are going to do. They're worrying about Dak. They're worrying about CD. They're worrying about all these people they got to pay and stuff like that. And they're worrying about the contracts now of everybody contracts saying that they overpay these certain people. Philadelphia, they don't have any. The wide receivers are just a mess. I mean, and not in the fact that they can help it. It's just injuries. The injuries are and Philly's not looking like a compatible team that can really play really play. They don't have any besides Jalen Hurts, and he's running for his ass most of the games. Watching them play, it's like they keep it simple, but they're able to run the ball. Robinson and Nichols, they had 200 yards rushing. McLaren is becoming a complete receiver compared to just a deep threat. Great on checkdowns. I mean, the guy just knows how to move the ball right now, and I don't know if having Doug Williams there and having that older black quarterback telling them about the pressure of being a young quarterback in Washington. My ex lived in Oxonville, so I used to be in Washington a lot. So it's almost like Atlanta. You have a lot of pressure, but also you have a lot of pride because there's a lot of black guys and black people, period, in the DC area. So you can be a star in that area if you play well. And I think having Doug Williams, I seen after the game, Doug gave him a hug, and I said, okay, they got a relationship there, so they definitely have talk. And I think even having someone over you that can talk to you and mentor you, and it takes a lot of the pressure off because you always have that person to kind of fall back on. If he have a bad game, he can just go literally. He can go, hey Doug, I need to talk. I didn't understand why they was playing cover 2 in this, and why the safety was rolling down, and Doug can sit there and say, well, I remember this is this, and so to have that privilege as a young quarterback is remarkable. And because I know for being an older player and being a younger player, my biggest distraction was not knowing anything. And it had nothing to do with football. It had to do with the outside of football. Like how am I going to take care of my mom, or how am I going to do this when my family comes in town? How am I going to do this? So everything was just like learning on the run. And he had 2 great parents, and he has him. So it's like you have a lot of guidance for a guy that he can kind of just sit back and literally say, I don't got to worry about going to class no more. I don't worry about my parents. My parents are here and they take care of. And I have me a mentor right here. So he got a good thing going on right there for a young quarterback. I don't know about Jamarcus Russell because Jamarcus Russell might didn't have all that. So it's just different things, different schemes that you can see in the player.
No, I saw Herman Edwards, who was his coach at Arizona State, text him like weekly too. So he's got a lot of people, got his back, and it's great to see him have so much success so early on.
Right.
It reminds me, remember when RG3 had that amazing rookie year and then got hurt? If you can stay healthy,
Yeah, I think that's one of the most disappointing storylines in NFL history.
He was so good his rookie year.
RG3 continue his career healthy.
Yeah.
Who
He
knows?
might have a better year than Stroud had last year. That'd be incredible, right?
That's insane. Yeah.
Hey, they're gonna really think they're gonna start thinking all these quarterbacks like, hey, all of them gonna be great. The rookie quarterbacks gonna be great now. No, no,
Well,
I
no.
don't want to
Well,
see
you know-
that because then they're gonna call my boy Caleb Williams Bryce Young. That's what they're gonna do.
I mean, are they wrong? No.
Yes, they are, Amanda.
So speaking of rookies, I had very, very high hopes for Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know why this boy, man, thinks he can play the first quarter and then just go take a nap for 30 minutes every game.
It's true.
No,
He's done that
I'm
a couple
serious though. Like,
times
look at
now.
his numbers, break them down by quarter. So after the first quarter, he went dark for 28 and a half minutes. He did nothing. Just
Right.
absolute silence. I mean, and this has happened 3 weeks in a row now, where he just doesn't do anything for 2 quarters. And it's weird because we've seen the Cardinals have a great offensive game. We've seen them have a good defensive game. Last week, the Lions were the better team, but they're so up and down.
But did they give up on the pass though?
I mean, in this game, yeah.
Yeah, it's like because I think 42-14, and you only got
Yeah.
115 passing yards.
I mean, they took a 7-0 lead, and then they were
Like I
outscored
think they were just like,
28-3.
let's just get out of here healthy.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's fair.
Here you go. Yeah, like man, let's just get out of here healthy. Like, this is not
Like
our
just
game.
gentle touches. Like,
Yeah.
but you know, like I don't know who this Cardinals team is.
I don't
Plus,
either.
he's got Muggsy Bogues. I mean, Kyler Murray throwing him the ball. So
Yeah, I don't like. I like Kyler Murray as a person, but as a player, it's hard to say that to keep checking boxes for him. Like, oh, because they gave you a good receiver, and you had Larry Fitzgerald too. I mean, they keep giving you stuff James Conner played well. They ran the ball well, but it's like 115 yards. Whenever I see under 200 yards as a quarterback, I feel like either the play column was gone or either they just gave up on the pass. Like it's just like we knew they're better than us. We don't want to get our quarterback hurt.
Yeah.
Let's just chill. You know, we'll handle this. We'll make it up next week.
Looked like for the Packers with Malik Willis. When our first game with him, we're like, let's not throw the ball. We don't trust you. Your passer rating is garbage. We're just gonna run. Like so far this season, the Packers have had more rushing yards than they have in any season since the 40s. Like for good reason. We had Malik Willis. We did not trust his passing game. Like we needed to see a little more out of him. And there are times to not use the pass. I feel like this quarterback is somebody I'd like to see just like play running back one week. I just for curiosity, like let's have Taysom Hill just play just quarterback for a game. We can have him over here just playing running back for a game. Like I just want like a trial game where like the fans get to like move players to different positions just for funsies.
Yeah, just see people get hurt.
Yeah.
There was a league like that. There was a fan controlled league.
Get hurt.
Can we do that in Madden yet? Like I don't play video games, but like can I make
they've been doing that in Madden.
Just a running back for a game?
Yeah,
I mean, you can if you want to get blown out by Alex. I mean, it's up to you.
Max Crosby as a wide receiver, like I want to play.
No, don't be doing that.
I don't play. Y'all want to talk Jags Texans since we're going backwards?
0-4 Jags. What is wrong with Jacksonville? 0-4.
I know what's wrong. I know.
Oh, let's. Jonathan.
Yeah, let's talk.
No, I'm not going to say anything. It's the quarterback. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because he's injured. I say this every week.
But I mean, even if you're injured, it's some stuff like I don't know how to say it. I guess because
he's been inaccurate.
I think I'm just mad because they always have his back. They always say like it's gonna turn around. It's gonna turn around. I mean, it's a point. And look, he just signed like a $200 million deal, so he's gonna be there for years. But
yeah,
you have ETN, and I think he's a great running back. I mean,
Brian Thomas.
Yeah, the receiving core is not the. Find him 2 good receivers. I'll say how they did Matt Ryan, and I'm not saying Matt was a good quarterback. Matt was going to be good regardless, but they got Julio. They went and got Julio for him, so he had somebody that he can grow with for the next 6-7 years. So go find y'all a receiver that's going to stick. Somebody that's going to be there, and somebody that can take the top off. You know what I mean? Somebody that's dynamic, somebody that can change the culture of the whole team. Like you're living and dying by your quarterback. So get him a tight end that can be an ultimate tight end. Trade for Pitts. Hell, we ain't doing shit with Pitts in Atlanta. So get somebody that you can take a little pressure off this guy. You know what I mean? And even if you have to, the next 3 years, go get you a tackle. Go get just a crazy looking, weird looking tackle that just crazy, just a big monstrous dude.
He said
That's
weird looking.
Yeah, weird looking. The best tackles are weird looking. You see them in the game.
It was just such a good description. Like,
yeah, you never see a cute tackle. You never see a tackle. Oh, he's so cute. No, that dude is weird looking as hell. Like long arms, big head, no neck.
Women are thirsting for the tackles. Got it. I will say Trevor Lawrence showed a notable improvement this game. 2 touchdown passes. That's better than he's done the last 2 games combined. He did miss some really they would have been amazing plays. There was 2 deep shots, one to Christian Kirk and then Brian Thomas Jr. And those were quarterback fault. Those were not like it was just they were not thrown well.
Well, it was 2017 and they didn't score in the red zone also.
Yeah,
it was 2017. So they went
lost
for
by 4
4
points.
times.
They lost by 4 points.
Is that coaching?
Yes. I can't wait to bring that up. I got that next.
Yeah, I was going to touch on the defense.
Okay.
The defense has been banged up. Darnell Savage should be back this week after his quad injury. Devin Lloyd with his knee, they're unsure about. Josh Hines Allen with his concussion, also unsure. And then Tyson Campbell and how do you say it? Aluakon or whatever. They're both out. That defense has a lot of holes. So for a team that lost by 4 points, that's gotta suck, knowing like some of your best defensive players weren't out there to negate the other score. Right. But a mild improvement for the Jags ain't gonna win you games. Like 20 points is not that's not gonna do it.
Hey, keep it real, girl.
So last week I said this and Hugh didn't like it because he's a former head coach, but I was like, I know it's week 3, but let's fire Doug Peterson right now. Like, get him the hell out of here.
You got Hugh mad. He was like, no.
I know he's a former, Super Bowl winner, but it's not working in Jacksonville. And this goes back to a losing streak from last year. But what really sealed the deal for me, you talked about it, they've always got Trevor Lawrence's back, John. But post-game, after this game, Doug Peterson practically called out Trevor Lawrence. They said they were going at him about coaching, and he's like, well, at the end of the day, the player's got to make the plays. And so, to me, the Jags aren't moving on from Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson is on a real hot seat right now. I think like mid-season, he's a mid-season fire if they don't get this turned around quick, and I don't see it getting turned around. Now, Evan Ingram needs to get back. He's a safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence. If they get him back, maybe that can spark something. I mean, we have to remember the Jags have been in these games. They could have beat the Dolphins week 1. They could have beat the Texans. You just have to find a way to win these games. And 0-4, is what they're at right now. But what do you think on that, John?
Man, nobody give a damn about no coulda, woulda, shoulda. If you lost, you lost. It's 0-4. 0-4 is 0-4. And even saying that makes it sound worse. Oh, you should have won that. Like it's like when you're when your kids do something, you say you should have did it, and then you be like, okay, if you know you ain't supposed to do it, damn it, it don't count. So saying they should have won the game when it comes out being 0 is simply showing that you're not playing well enough, you're not preparing well enough. They had Houston had 12 penalties and still won this game. That's what's ridiculous. And I mean, Stephon Diggs played well. I think he's really making that team better. I think it was a better team. Like the score really doesn't show how really they lost the game because they really got beat. I mean, not like just took into the
And they got beat by a team that was sloppy as hell. Like
yes,
like
exactly.
the Texans are supposed to be good. You look at that roster, you look at what they did last year and the improvements they've made in the offseason. Like this game they should have looked a lot better than 24 points. And then DeMeco Ryans earlier this week, he's like, yeah, we've had a lot of penalties. The penalties were addressed. Oh, were they? How many penalties did y'all have this week? What the fuck did you address? Let's get more, guys. Go team.
12.
What do you mean you guys had a chat about it? Like,
let's see how hard we can make it on ourselves.
We need a challenge this week, guys. Fun. Sounds funsies. Like, no, like
so speaking of, you are what your record says you are. The Bengals are 0-3, trying to avoid 0-4, and they actually come through and beat the Panthers to get to 1-3. Are the Bengals' problem solved by beating the Carolina Panthers? Are we buying the Bengals now? What do you think, John?
No, not at all. The Panthers give up 32.2 points a game. I
Yeah.
mean, you're not gonna. You shouldn't feel good for just scoring 30. What they scored 34. You shouldn't feel
34.
good. Yeah, you shouldn't feel good about beating a team that averages 30. That's what you're supposed to put up. Now, if you get 60 on, oh, we played our ass off, but you
Yeah.
gave what they like. Come on, man. Like I'm sitting here like watching the game, and I am happy to my Leggett scored his first touchdown. I'm happy with that. And
Yeah.
it's a South Carolina guy. But
Yeah.
honestly, when I was watching the game, y'all, this is something I said. You literally could have switched the team's jerseys and you could have switched the jerseys and put Cincinnati and Carolina. You could have put Carolina and Cincinnati. You had the same damn squad, except for Jamar Chase. You take Jamar Chase out of things. Jamar Chase was the only person that I could tell that looked different from everybody else. But Hubbard and Brown look almost like both of them wear number 30. I was looking like, dude, this is the same damn game.
Like, I feel like the Jamar Chase is Adam Thielen. Like, if Adam Thielen wasn't on IR, like that's their playmaker, and he's out. Like, so I actually, I'm gonna eat this real quick. I actually picked the Panthers here just because. What the fuck are the Bengals doing? And Alex said, did you say that about the Bengals? You're like, I don't think they're an 0-4 team. Like, I feel like they've got talent. They need to pull it together. And I was like, yeah, but Dalton had a good week, and I just don't trust them. And granted, they had a good game, but like, I think the Panthers defense and just, I mean, it's the Panthers, but like Dalton had an okay game. Like, he definitely needs to stay their starter. Like, I don't think putting up 24 points is a reason to bring Bryce Young back in ever.
No.
Dalton and Burrow's stats are like almost identical.
Yeah. I absolutely. I was watching that like convergence. Like, it's funny because it's the same team.
I told you it's like the same team. Like when I was watching the game, I was like, dude, you literally just got.
That makes so much sense.
I was like, you switch the jerseys, you would not know which team was which. Like I'm like, because I was looking at the game and I'm like, that's like the same damn play. Oh, that's Herbert or Brown. Like that 30 going this way, 30 going that way. I'm looking like, oh Lord. And I seen the passing plays. I'm like, this looks the damn same. I'm like, these are the same. Yeah.
So I don't think we really need to talk about Broncos Jets. I mean, it was a pouring down rain game. I predicted a low scoring defensive battle before I even knew it was going to rain.
That's a bad loss for the Jets, though.
It's a rough loss for them, but I mean,
I think it was just the fact that they had to say something after the game about, because, Aaron's a pretty laid back guy. He kind of said about the rain, but, he threw some bad balls. But I think for the tension may be coming because, certain calls that weren't made that they might have wanted to made. I kind of saw that more in the press conference when I was looking at South. You can kind of see an uncomfortable position when you're seeing like certain things. Like Aaron didn't say like, they should have maybe called this or called this, but saying that, it was raining out there, but I threw some balls. So, he's taking attention to himself. But, sometimes when you take attention to yourself, you're really trying to say, what the fuck were you doing? Because, I shouldn't have been making that throw anyway. I should have been like, they should have handed the ball off or should this other thing. So sometimes you got to, read a little subliminal stuff. It's kind of like this, like you said, it's a win. They should have won this game and to lose it to them, even watching the game was pretty boring to watch. Both defenses played well because of the rain, but
it limited their passing game, which is what both teams have been doing well at. Like Bo Nix had a great week last week.
Yes.
The passing game, neither team is great on the ground. And this is only the 5th game in Aaron Rodgers' career where he has failed to have a touchdown. So, Mr. Chip on his shoulder, like he was pissed leaving this one, but something about play calling. We had issues with Nathaniel Hackett in Green Bay, and then he went there, and he and Rodgers are buddy-buddy. But I feel like Rodgers' relationship with Matt LaFleur would bump heads with him, and they would go back and forth. I just feel like something about the relationship there is weird because they're not using their receivers. Like, Pat Surtain was on Garrett Wilson, but they're not even attempting to get Garrett Wilson free. Like the play calls are just not involving him. They're not looking his way. Even when Pat Surtain was taken off of him for a few plays, he was open and they just completely ignored him. And I just feel like Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the autonomy he's used to having there because we saw some beautiful audibles in that man's career and he's made some beautiful plays, but it just seems like.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Credit to Denver's
receivers there for them to have such low production, even in a.
And credit to Denver's defense. They've been playing really well this year. Vance Joseph is getting it done over there. And John, you brought it up. I think you said like a quarterback throws for 120 yards. That's not shit in today's NFL.
Unless you have,
One,
unless you have like a Derrick Henry, like we said, or a running game that's going to put up 200 yards and y'all going to like maximize the game, and you're just like, okay, we're going to run the clock out. That's different. But if you're throwing for like 120,
60?
yeah, and you
Bo
only
Nix
get
throws
10
for
points,
60 and they win.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It'd be one thing if there was like, 300 yards on the ground or something, but like
Sure.
Yeah.
there was just
Correct.
nothing. What's
So
concerning to me, we've talked about third down conversions being important. The Broncos didn't have a single converted third down until halfway into the third quarter.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. So are we worried at all about this Jets team? They should have
Yes,
been 3-1.
yes.
Now
You
they're
got it.
Yeah,
They
until
got
they
the
get Devontae
Vikings
Adams,
next
yes.
week. They have the
And
Vikings. Yeah, they have the Vikings next week. So
yeah, in London.
yeah, so that's going to be, and sometimes I think what we do is we take out the, like even with the Falcons, I'm over here watching them. They had a Monday night, Sunday night, and now they have a Thursday night game. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of stress, and like even them going, like the Jets have been in big time games almost every week, and now they're going to London, so it's going to be another big time game. So that's very draining. Like even though if you win those games,
A lot of pressure.
yeah. So the pressure, just think about like, okay, I got to get all my bags packed. I got to make sure I got this. I got to make sure I got this. I got to make sure.
Where's my passport, honey? Yeah.
Yes. And then you got family. Hey, I want to come to the game. No. Oh, I want to do this. No, we're going to London. It's
Yeah,
work. So it's a lot of stuff that come with these big games. The big games.
Well, especially like a
wear you down.
celebrity who's been in as long as Aaron Rodgers. He's
Right.
got celebrity friends calling him
Everybody.
up. Yeah.
I'm gonna be in London too, man. Can I go to lunch? I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna no, I'm not.
So I think that game next week, Jets Vikings, is my Seattle Detroit of this week. Like,
It's a must win. I think it's a must
show
win.
me who you are in this game. Like, this is gonna be I'll take this one seriously. Like, we'll cut him some slack for the weather or having an off game, but
Right.
if you can't pull your head out of your ass in this matchup, also please beat the Vikings for me, thanks.
Yeah.
Then I'm losing some faith in Aaron Rodgers. Like, Alex had picked them to win the Super Bowl. I don't know if we're holding on to that pick.
Oh, we're still going. We're still making plans for the Super Bowl. Don't worry. It's week 4. Don't worry.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
Can I
I mean,
get
mine is
on
Bills, so I
Just to
can't talk
double
much shit
down
either.
on that, go ahead and write this down if you need to. But the Jets are going to get the win in London over the
I love that.
undefeated. National media will tell you the Vikings are Super Bowl contenders. Let's be real.
If the Jets show up on defense, I think they got it. I think the Jets show up on defense.
Can we talk? We skipped Bucks Eagles. We'll come back to them, but y'all be talking about the Vikings too much for me to keep my cheesehead mouth shut.
No, please don't.
All right, talk about your Vikings.
First of all, I muted one of my friends who's a Vikings fan because he was like trying to talk to me during the game. I was like, I will unmute you December 30th after we beat you in our second. Just don't talk to me right now.
Petty like that, so
I'm a petty little bitch. And he also, this motherfucker, I hope he listens. Chris, you better listen to this shit. I said, so before when we made our picks, Alex and I both picked the Packers because Jordan Love was playing. Everyone seemed healthy. At the last minute, they were like, Jair Alexander isn't playing. And Alex and I were like, oh, that's more important than Jordan Love. So we both were like, yeah, no, that's a huge difference. And coming into the game, you could see it. Like, you could see that he wasn't there. Like, yeah, we had a couple good plays on defense in the second half, but like that defense, like he is the heart and soul of that defense. So, I mean, immediately that was going to be a problem. And Sam Darnold had a great game. The first half was great, but why does the Green Bay Packers have a harder time finding a kicker to replace Mason Crosby than they do finding franchise quarterbacks?
Hey,
Bruce Willis, Jordan Love, Jennifer Love.
you had a kicker.
Jennifer Love, you.
You had a kicker, but you let him go.
I know the Greg Joseph thing pisses me off so much, but I'm not going to talk about his lawsuit at all. But Brandon McManus is technically available as of yesterday.
Hey, he's all cleared now.
He was cleared of charges. The lawsuit was dropped. So if he is not in Green Bay by the end of the week interviewing and being tried out, they're going to riot in the streets of Green Bay. I swear.
There'll be like 4 people out there.
All 7 people. Like, our kicker is tied for first in the league for extra point percentages, but he is the only kicker in the NFL this season to miss a less than 40-yard field goal. They were 116 or 115 of 115 until this man stepped on the field.
Sheesh.
That's fucking embarrassing. Oh, you can fight me.
But hey, your boy Xavier McKinney with a 4th straight interception.
He did so good. I'm so proud of
Yeah,
him.
I've seen that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think he's a beautiful pickup, but you can't just like once they know who your best player is on defense, like you have to have two. Like you have to have 2 or 3
Yeah.
playmakers on defense because they just line you up on the wrong people. So this game, I will say, yeah, we lost. We lost by 2 points. Our kicker missed 6 though. But
Why?
I am
Any
still
concern?
so pleased with how this game played out. Like, yeah, Jordan Love was not putting any pressure on his back leg for the entire first half of the game. I think they gave him a cortisone shot at halftime. That's
Yeah.
my theory. They gave him some drugs and then he just didn't seem to care anymore and he was playing. Losing that game by 2 points is insane to me. Like that comeback, I mean, the most the Packers have ever come back in a game is 23 points. They came back and outscored them 28-3 in the second half. Like, I will take that loss. That is fine. We had an injured quarterback anyway. But, you know.
If Jordan Love was like a little drugged up in the second half, you know, and that's why he played better, that makes some sense when you say that. And maybe that makes, like, he needs to, one thing about Jordan Love that I've noticed is he's very talented. He can be very successful in this league, but he needs to tone it down on a couple of these like bucket throws.
Yeah.
And that one that he threw in a double coverage, the comeback's on. They're within 1 score. They're going down to tie the game, and he throws it in a double coverage in the end zone for an easy interception. You know,
you know
go
why?
back to the playoffs, and he did the same thing. He needs to not do that.
But you know why he does it, though? You know who
Why?
his idol is? The man showed up to the game wearing a Brett Favre jersey.
I was going to say, I was like, that's the epitome of a Green Bay.
Yeah, number 4. He rolled into the game like, hey, Brett Favre. Like, don't do that. No.
Yeah, if you take that away, that's taking away the glamour and really the glitz of Green Bay. Like that's the kind of like you had like Brett Favre only threw 3 interceptions. He like the career.
Yeah,
so, I mean, like bro, there's nothing wrong with that. You still can be great. Like, and I think if you want to take your presence as being a gunslinger, and also like I said with everything they built in Green Bay with the 3 quarterbacks they had, the 3 recent quarterbacks, it's prevalent. I mean, I like a quarterback like that. I think talking to Matt, and Matt was talking about decision making, and his first completion was for a touchdown. He was describing. He was like, well, it's supposed to be in a short curl, but he was like, I got back in there and I was like, fuck it, I'm going deep. Yeah, and he just did it, and he hit it, and it ended up being like, you know, that was his thing then. Like it was like. And now it's history, but he was like, man, sometimes you gotta take those damn shots. Like they could tell you because he said he told Mike Smith, he was like, look, just give me something easy to complete, you know, for my first. He's like, all right, well, this is what the play gonna be. And he told him this, and he was like, shit. He was like, I'm going for it. And he went for it. And that's the kind of mentality you want in your quarterback. You want I'm not saying if Lawrence had a little more of that. I mean, because he know how to throw an interception. Don't get me wrong, but it's the interception he throws are like. Why? You know, not like, you know, I'm like, oh, he's trying it. I like that. You know, like it's a different type of aggression. It's like you can see a quarterback seeing something that, oh yeah, I believe in my receiver compared to, oh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know, like you know what I'm saying.
Speaking of receivers, Dontavian Wicks had 3 bad drops in this game. And after the game, he was like, no, it was my fault. I lost the game. If I didn't have those drops, like that was an automatic touchdown. Like I was on the 5-yard line if I had caught that. And Jordan Love, who I am gaining more respect for week after week, comes in. He's like, no, he had those drops, but those were on me. I should have thrown it a little higher. That last throw was absolutely my fault. He's like the spin I put on like he claimed all of that. He was like, that's not your fault. Meanwhile, if I'm on that team, I'm like, has anyone looked at the fucking kicker? Like 6 points? We lost by 2. Like, I don't give a fuck about what you dropped. That man made 1 field goal. We would have won. Like, what the fuck? No. Shut up, Dontavian.
Where's the damn kicker?
Braden over here. Also, what the fuck kind of name is Braden? Like, go back to kindergarten. That's not like you can't be a kicker in the NFL named Braden.
You gotta leave the man name out of it. We ain't
Yeah,
getting personal. We ain't getting personal. Hey, they told me in the media, you never get personal now.
No.
You speak the facts.
It's personal.
You don't
The
take
first
shots.
kicker to miss an under 40-yard field goal this season, it's fucking personal, dude.
What kind of name is that, damn it? Who named you?
No, I just hate that, like Braden, Aiden, Jaden, Caden. Like,
I got you.
one of my best friends has a son named Caden, and I'm gonna send this to her. Be like, hey, I talked shit about your son's name. It's too popular. It's played out. That's my issue.
I got you. That was funny though.
But let's talk Eagles Bucks, because when we were picks, we all came into this game picking the Bucks. We just kind of foresaw how it would go. What is wrong with the Eagles, John? Can you tell me what you think is going on with them this season?
This game right here was just two. This is gonna sound stupid though. These are actually two equally matched teams if you look at it on paper. If you look at the quarterbacks, you look at the receiving core. If they had their true receiving core like Mike Evans, like Mike Evans is one of those guys. He's not as explosive as AJ Brown, but he gives you 1,000 yards every year. I think the big thing was Vita. Vita came out and that D-line outworked their D-line. That young D-line, you could tell they was young. They didn't do anything to get Baker like out of his position or anything. But when I said if you watch the tape and watch how many times those D-linemen for what's the name of the team? Tampa, the D-line was just and it sounds stupid, but the D-line completely controlled the game for them and it made the whole game different. Because I was looking up, because I'm like, dude, this young defense is terrible. Because they had to keep blitzing, and they blitz also, but you got 6 sacks on a blitz, and you got 2 sacks with a blitz. So the sacks were just totally different. They was blitzing, and they blitzing were working. Like the blitz in Philly, they blitzed because they had to. Like losing a guy like Reddick makes a lot of, like, you see why now they're important. Like guys like me, like guys that can get to the quarterback without you having to bring an extra guy, that helps your defense in the back end. But if you don't have those guys in the back end, you're kind of effed. You know what I'm saying? So especially if you can't block their blitz, and that's pretty much what I saw. Like I said, the game was pretty much evenly par. And Barkley, he had 1 run. He wasn't really a factor like that. Like it seemed like he was a factor because you looked at the stat. Oh, he had how much yard rushing? He had that 159-yard run, but if you take that 59-yard run out, that one play, that couldn't save him.
Yeah.
And I expected them to use him more after his numbers last week. And my biggest issue in this is after the first quarter, when you're outgained 186-0, like you have 3 quarters left to come back. Like we've seen some teams put up a fight in the 3rd and 4th quarter this week. They just let it go. Like the defense gave up nearly 30 first downs, 400 yards to the Bucks. Like the defense seems soft. And I don't like Vic Fangio has proven himself before. And I don't know what's going on. I know the team is young and I know the defense has a lot of young players, but they seem soft. They just seem very breakable. It's like a bad game of Red Rover these days for that defense.
Baker looks a lot more confident when he's at home. It just looked like he played like in his backyard. I don't know if you remember the Oklahoma days, but the confidence that when he plays at home, like even when he ran that touchdown and somebody was on his leg, he kind of grabbed off and he, doing this. But
I love that play. He shook him off like. I messaged Alex during that play, and I sent him a video of it. I was like, that looks like a dad trying to get away from his toddlers at home. Like, get the fuck off me. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go to work, dude. Get off.
It was showing the confidence that he has. And I think even like how he threw this game and how he played, it just showed that his confidence when he's in Tampa and, them giving him that deal and everything, it showed as a player, I can play here and I don't got to worry about going nowhere. So it also helps the other players like Mike. Like Mike Evans is playing incredible. And this guy has been doing this for years. I mean, he's 1,000 yards. And the benefit of having him, especially in the red zone, is showing up. Sometimes they'll switch another receiver into his position and they'll end up, scoring. I think Slay got scored on. And I was surprised about that. But it's like the defense is maybe just getting tired because they know that if we're like, this is going to be a long season because we're not scoring on offense. And sometimes as a defense, you tend to drift away mentally. because you feel like it's all on you. Like, oh man, it's all on us. We gotta stop them. We gotta stop them. Then you look at the scoreboards 24/7 at halftime. You're like, shit. We didn't do good. We didn't do what we were supposed to do today. I'm like, so it's weird out here sometimes.
I
Alex,
think
were you worried about the Bucks after losing at home to the Lions 20 or not to the Lions, sorry.
no,
The
they
Broncos
got, yeah.
26-7 last week.
So
Because I like
to
what you said
me,
about Baker playing better when he's confident. I was worried he was going to come after only putting up 7 points last week and just act like he only put up 7 points last week, because he is one of those men, like, he gets in his head. If he has a shitty game, like, he sometimes doesn't recover well. So whatever they did this week, whatever coaching conversations he had, whatever meditations he did, seemed to fix his mind. Because Hughes said this numerous times. That's a quarterback that gets in his head and then he messes the game up because he's overthinking.
yeah, that goes along with what we were talking about before, like with Jordan Love and all this. The quarterback position, as much as anything, I think it's about confidence, and trusting your arm ability. A lot of times you see them where they're trying to like follow through extra and guide the pass in there just perfectly instead of just ripping it and trusting it. You know what I mean? And I think mentality has a lot to do with this. The Bucks coming off a really bad loss to Denver. They know they should have won. So they were extra focused for this game. And the Eagles had a statement win over the Saints where the defense stepped up and shut down, the greatest show on turf, Saints, whatever. And so then they come in here and don't play their best. Again, I don't know exactly, but what John was saying, Baker at home, Baker this year more than ever seems to be very confident. And, and I don't know. I like this Bucks team. That's a big win, a big bounce back win. And they play on this Thursday night
It's
at
the
Atlanta.
Falcons.
That's going to be a great game.
I hope
I
so.
can't
I
wait
hope
for this
so. I'm
game.
not sure. I'm not sure about how the Falcons are going to handle this, because how Baker played last week. I know we beat Philly, like Atlanta beat Philly, but I just feel I don't know. Like Baker
It's a
just
tough
seems a little
game.
more like Baker seems a little more confident this week. And I don't know. I'm not comfortable saying that we're gonna automatically win. And I know I ain't supposed to say that, but it's just like this game, because I think we're still trying to find our team, and it seemed like Tampa knows who their team are, even if they lose the game. Like you were saying, like they lost the game to Denver, they knew they should have won. But it's like I can see Tampa. This is the team that is. Like the Falcons right now, I don't know what kind of team they are. I mean, they scored off two touchdowns last week. And that was all that's the only thing they scored on. Like it was 3 field goals and it was 2 touchdowns, one on special teams, one on defense off a Judon batted pass to Anderson. So for me, it's like, is the offense going to come back alive, or are they going to show like they can, play real ball? Because that game was, if y'all watched the game,
It
like
was a
it was
mess. I want to talk about that one. So how does
okay.
it
That
feel to
was a
have a
good
kicker
game.
who can actually make a field goal? I mean, a
Yeah.
I knew you were
game-winning
going to say that. I knew
58-yard
you
field
was
goal.
going to go right there.
I've got kicker envy so hard. 58 yards, 1 minute
Yeah.
left. Like, oh, my
And,
heart.
and if you'd have watched the game, and like I said,
I
watching the
did,
game,
yeah.
I was wondering what the hell they was doing, because the play calling, the last 3 plays, he went deep. And it was
Yeah.
just like,
I
all
was
you
like,
needed was
no,
like,
just get the
all you
first
need,
down.
like,
Yeah, I was yelling.
thank you. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, the first play, just throw a 5-yard route, make it closer for him. But also, that's called, Alex, that's called confidence in your kicker, because they didn't give it like shit. We ain't worrying about
58
like we
yards.
good right here. Like we're gonna see if we can get a little closer, but that is confidence in your kicker. When it's 58 yards and you're not even thinking about like just let's go to the sideline for another 5 and make it easy for them. They were going deep, and I'm looking like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting here
I'll just
thinking in
be
my
over here
head like, this
crying
makes
and
no
crying
sense.
in Cheesehead.
Yeah, he just came out there. Who came out there? Bop, right down the middle. It was like, so that's I guess that is a confident thing, but the game, it just scared me because like the turnovers were good. I don't think Kurt he didn't seem like he ever got in a real good flow. And like even watching him after the press conference, he talked about the swag and search thing and whatever that they got on Instagram, like it's a big story, but they didn't talk about how he didn't really have a lot of life. As talking like, he felt comfortable in his position at right, like we did this because they didn't score a touchdown. as a
Yeah.
quarterback, you can say, like, even with Aaron, they can say they're good with the win, but quarterbacks are not going to go home happy with
Yeah.
the
Well,
win with no points on it, because that's your job. Like, regardless of who's the running back, regardless of who's your receivers, as a quarterback, you don't score a point. That is a distinct fact that you didn't get somebody the ball to score, whether it's handing it off or whether they didn't score 1 point on offense compared to the field goal. So for me personally, I would feel like, because I was scared, because I was looking at the game, I'm like, man, they got lucky. Like, I'm serious, and I'm not being rude, because I've been in games that the defense had to win the games for me, but it's different when you know, like, I knew Matt. Like, I knew Matt was just having a bad game. Like, I knew our offense just was playing bad. This team's only 4 games in, and they haven't been a consistent team yet. You know, one time the offense played well, sometimes the defense played well, sometimes the special teams played well this game. But then, like okay, with Kansas City, for instance, when they're down or when they're this, we know what kind of team that is. So it don't surprise us when they come back at the end. You know what I mean? Like, okay, they came they have these same kind of games and they're 8-3 or something like that, we can say, okay, this is the kind of team they are. But right now, we can't say the consistency of what they are yet, because we haven't seen anything consistently. You know, once you see the consistency of their running team, okay, they ran good. This I don't know. Me as a fan, good win. Me as a commentator, me as a person that knows and plays football, the fuck. Like, you know, and not in a bad way. It's just like, y'all didn't score a point, and those points came early now. So it was a long game to watch. You know, field goal. I'm like, oh
yeah.
Lord.
Well, and it's like they haven't discovered their identity. Like, this is the first time they've won a game without scoring a touchdown since September 26th of 2004. It's been 20 years since this has happened. So, you know, like, that room is side-eyeing Kirk a little bit, like, what the fuck happened? But something to watch for this Atlanta team. Troy Anderson, who won that game for you. He had a pick six, a tackle for loss, pass defended, the most tackles on the team with 17.
17, yeah.
17 tackles. He played a hell of a game, but
You
he
know,
went out in the
what's
fourth
funny?
quarter with a knee injury. Do we have
I'm
enough?
No, I'm just gonna say something about Troy, and this is gonna sound bad, and people gonna like be mad at me though.
Do it.
He was getting his ass washed during the game. Like, he was making the tackles, they were making the tackles 4 or 5 yards down the field. That's what y'all ain't seeing. Cause I would show you, I was texting Maria, and I was like, our linebackers are suck. Like, I don't know what's going on, but they're playing on their heels. Like, they're sitting like this, and like most of the tackles, if you seen that rushing touchdown, he got thrown out the club. And I was just like, man, y'all better be glad that he ended up having a good game, because that touchdown made it look good. But if you watch the film, watch how far back he was.
They were dragging him a little bit.
Watch how far back he was when he was making them tackles. Like, I've had games that I had a sack or two, and people are like, oh, you had a great game. We go in the meeting room, we like, man, what the hell were you doing, man? Like, God, like, oh, congratulations on your sack, but look at this. Like, oh, he had to go see some tape like that. Because I'm telling you, they were running the ball straight at him, and like, it was just like, I'm looking like, man, I'm sitting here texting Maria, because she's on Atlanta Alive here, and we do like, I'm like, man, the linebackers are getting destroyed. Like literally, because Kamara was not getting touched to probably like 3-4 yards down. I said, it's not even the D line. It's like, you got Anderson overrunning sometimes, then you got Ellis overrunning, and then you got them cutting back. And I'm looking like, man, this is. I mean, they won the game, but I promise y'all, if y'all look at that tape, and I'm not saying he didn't have a good game, but he got so many tackles because it was far down the field. It wasn't no tackles for loss.
Well, so far he's not participating in practice. Alex, I don't want to miss you talking about a Bears win though. So
yeah, real quick. We don't have to spend much time on this. It's nice to get a win. You know, Caleb Williams, while the stats don't jump off the screen, he played well. Like, he played better. It was nice to get DeAndre Swift going as well. He had a nice little flip the ball out with pressure in his face to Swift, who broke off a big play. Montez Sweat with a big strip sack of Stafford with 2 turnovers. I'll take it. You know, like, the Rams are injury hit, They're probably not a playoff team, so you take what you can get, and a nice home win to get back to 500. It's a work in progress in Chicago. Like, no, I don't think anyone expects us to be a playoff team. The offensive line is trash,
The
but
defense played really well, though.
yeah, the defense is the strength of the team, and as long as Montez Sweat, Jaquan Brisker, and Jalen Jones and these guys are doing their thing, that's the good news. Is it's going to keep the Bears in games for the most part, and then if Caleb can continue to develop, maybe he can win us some. But it's just nice to get back to 500. But neither of these teams are going anywhere. I don't think so.
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball, I mean, Kyron Williams, I don't think is going to be enough on offense to survive the absence of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. And
No, you got Stanford throwing it to Tutu Atwell and Demarcus Robinson and Robert Whittington or something. So like they don't have, with Puka
he's
and
not
Cooper
good if you have
out.
to say or something after you say his name.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't
And the Packers play them next week, so I'm intrigued to see how a healthier Jordan Love
Against the
and Jair
Rams.
Alexander back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a win for sure. John, how are you feeling about Thursday night? Falcons Bucks. That's going to be a great matchup. It's a great opportunity if Atlanta can get this win. That's going to completely change the mentality there. But Tampa is a tough team right now.
with the win over the Saints, I think whether I feel like it was warranted or not, I think it was. They might have should have lost just to shake them up, but they showed their persistent team at the end of the game and then they'll win the game. And like man said, they have a kicker that can keep them in any game. I'm not sure just watching, but Atlanta's going to be live on Thursday night. Can they win the game? They show that they can win in tough situations. I think if the running game for Tampa, if they create a running game, I think it's going to be tough because, like I said, if you watch the film like I watched of this week with the Saints, the linebackers didn't play as well as it seems to me. I mean, they got a lot of tackles but it's 3, 4, 5 yards down the field. I think they have to find a receiver that can break away from the monotony. I need a receiver that can get 10 catches a game, or even Kyle Pitts has 0 receptions.
Yeah, you got to get him involved. Yeah,
you got to think about it, like if your defense is going to be your special light, your special team is going to be your special light. We need to see that every week. Like I spoke about it last week. I was like, if they're gonna win this game, the no-name people, and I'm not saying no-name now. I didn't say no-name then, but I'm saying the no-name people, the people that you don't hear about, is gonna have to make plays. Which Anderson made a play. We was just talking about it, so I was comfortable with that. He did play well. He was there when they needed him. But it's got to be a consistent thing. Okay, Judon had a sack. Jesse Bates did this, and Anyamata had 2 sacks also. You got to throw an extra name. Like, if you want to be a good team, you got to have some other names to get in that mix every now and then. It can't just be like your best player or one of your best player Pitts have no touches. Like,
yeah,
dude, that's kind of embarrassing. Like, they tried to get him a catch, but it ended up being the penalty. So the penalties did hurt him a little bit in this game. Also, they ended up winning it, but being a player and being a coach and being all this stuff and then trying to figure out like what is our team now? Because they're winning, and I saw a lot of celebration after the game because you're excited about it. But as a coach, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the hell are we gonna do? We didn't score a damn point. Like as a coach, so if they can score and be consistent in scoring, I think this will be an easy win for them with Tampa. But Tampa's going to be bringing the house for them because Kirk can't move. So, and how the blitz worked last week against a very mobile quarterback. This week, I would definitely be like, oh, we're going to give Kirk everything he got because he ain't going to throw it to the tight end. Hell, he might get Drake or he might get Mooney a couple of touches, but the tight end is pretty much not even part of their game. So we ain't worrying about that, and that's ridiculous if you think about it, but it is what it is.
So who would you pick to win this week?
So I'm pick the Falcons, but I'm going for.
Your tape a little
I
harder.
changed it. I'm picking Tampa, but I'm going for the Falcons.
That's fair. Who you think is going to win, and who who you want to win don't have to be the same
Yeah,
thing.
I gotta be real.
Alex picks with his heart sometimes, and it bites him in the ass.
Amanda, who are you picking?
Tampa Bay. I mean,
I know
Kirk
you were going
Cousins.
Tampa Bay.
Well, obviously, Kirk Cousins in 4 games, 77 of 119 passes, so 64%. Not terrible, but 864 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 4 picks. If you've got a 1-to-1 ratio, I don't fucking trust you.
Right.
Like
I'm
and
going Atlanta Falcons for the dub
oh
at
my
home.
God, Alex, you always do this.
Uh,
They're gonna lose by
look,
30 now.
Tampa Bay no showed against Denver. Like who loses to the Broncos? Like, are you kidding me? So give me
The Jets,
Atlanta
apparently.
at
Aaron Rodgers.
home. Jesse Bates and who's the other one? The two safeties, Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. They're gonna pick off one of them's gonna pick off Baker Mayfield.
I do think that's gonna happen though. I do think
Yeah.
I think the defense is gonna play well, but I don't think that I'm not sure about the offense. I'm kind of shaky on the offense.
I'm worried about Atlanta's offense versus the defense.
Yes.
That's my concern. I'm not saying that Atlanta doesn't have a great defense.
Exactly.
I mean, switching the numbers over, Baker's got 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's gonna have 1 or 2 more. We get the Baker Mayfield experience in this one. I see, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, something. Because that defense is good. But on offense, they just don't have an identity yet, and that's concerning. And both Mike Evans and Bijan Robinson for the Bucks are limited in practice, but they should. Coach said that they look good to play this weekend, so they'll
Godwin,
have their weapons playing.
Yeah. In Bijan we trust, and if it comes down to a field goal, my old girl tripping, but my young Wei Koo is gonna come through. 58-yard field goal. It don't matter.
1 minute left. I'll just be sitting there crying at a picture of Mason Crosby. Like, what is that Wolverine meme where he? Yeah.
But we got to get out of here. Another long episode. We can talk for hours, but we don't got that
John's
time.
insight is so good. Like,
yeah, always great to have you on, John.
Yeah, and listen, guys, we know we skipped over 1 game, Colts Steelers. All you need to know is Flacco is back. He can win a game. Justin Fields did Justin Fields things. My only note from this game: do not drop back 20 yards before fumbling a fucking football, bro. What was that play? That was like the little league.
Yeah,
that was Pee Wee games that I watched this weekend, where our team, 1 kid scored 4 touchdowns, another kid scored 2 against them, a third kid scored 1, and they had 2 safeties against them. That's how bad my daughter's team that she's cheering for is playing. Like, that defense is a mess. But that's what the Steelers reminded me of, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm just back at the Pee Wee game. Rough. Bad.
All right, well, thanks for making the time again, John, and we'll look forward to talking with you and recapping this Falcons game on Thursday night. So,
thanks, guys.
Have a great week, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. And peace out.